Learning you have type 2 diabetes can be upsetting, but it can also be the beginning of a healthier life. Millions of people are managing this disease successfully. You can too. Sherry Shepard is thriving. The vivacious comic keeps a busy schedule working on television and raising a son. She doesn't let diabetes slow her down, and she doesn't hide it either.
Because a lot of people look at me and they go, oh, she doesn't have diabetes, because I don't look like the type of person that has it. So I like to make them aware, yes, I do. It comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
But to get that upbeat attitude, Sherry had to overcome a troubled family history with the disease.
I think that's probably why my mom passed away at 41, because she didn't take care of herself. I really would like this generation of us to be the last generation where you see all the bad stuff, because that's what my sisters and I saw. We saw the bad stuff from, people in our family having diabetes.
As Sherry has learned, it doesn't have to be that way.
People often have a relative or a loved one who's had complications from diabetes, and they think that diabetes is something that is going to result in the end of their life or in significant disability, when this is not true. If you take care of diabetes and manage it, it is a very controllable disease and you can live a long, happy, normal life.
Diabetes is a disease in which your blood glucose or sugar levels are too high. Glucose comes from the food you eat. Normally, your body makes a substance called insulin that helps glucose get into the cells of the muscles and other organs to be used for energy.
Typically, the body releases insulin in response to sugar ingestion, and insulin will help bring sugar out of the bloodstream into the cells.
With diabetes, either there is not enough insulin or it doesn't work effectively.
The production of insulin, a hormone that helps regulate glucose, is disturbed and not normal. And in addition, the ability of the body to respond to insulin is compromised.
With type 1 diabetes, not enough insulin is made by the pancreas. With type 2 diabetes, the insulin doesn't work as it should. It is type 2 diabetes that we're focusing on in this program. With either type of diabetes, the glucose, or sugar, builds up in the bloodstream instead of getting into the cells.
Over the long term, high blood sugar will lead to blood vessel damage and nerve damage, which can cause all the complications of diabetes. So in terms of damage to blood vessels, it can result in eye damage leading to vision loss or blindness, a heart attack, stroke, kidney damage, damage to the blood vessels in the lower parts of the body called peripheral vascular disease, and in men, erectile dysfunction. Damage to the nerves can result in numbness in the feet or painful, what we call neuropathy.
What you want to do is keep your blood sugar as normal as possible to reduce risk.
The choices you make every day can help you prevent heart disease, stroke, blindness, amputation, kidney disease, and other complications. It all starts with learning how to take control, because you're in charge.
When people are first diagnosed with diabetes, they're afraid to learn how the diabetes is going to affect their day-to-day and also the complications of diabetes. I try to help them understand that diabetes is a condition that can be controlled. Okay, so have a seat in this chair.
Knowledge is power. With the help of a doctor, diabetes educator, dietitian, or other healthcare provider, people with diabetes can learn what to eat and how much, when to exercise and why, how and when to measure blood sugar, what to do if blood sugar is too high or too low, when and how to take medication if it's prescribed, and when to contact the healthcare provider.
You kind of have to come to grips with it and build certain things into a routine.
Roger has been controlling diabetes for more than 20 years, but he remembers well having some classic symptoms which he tried to ignore.
You wake up in the morning extraordinarily thirsty with dry mouth, and so I sort of knew what was going on, but was in denial for a little while. Then I went to see my doctor.
Over the years, Roger has seen a lot of improvements in the way diabetes is treated. But what hasn't changed is the need for each individual to take responsibility for his health.
So we often call diabetes a self-managed disease because really most of the care for diabetes relies with the person who has it. Healthcare professionals can help to provide education and medications, but really what helps the most with controlling diabetes is changing people's lifestyle, managing their diet, how much sugar they take in, working with exercise, and trying to lose weight.
Everyone should make healthy food choices, but sometimes it takes a diagnosis of diabetes to make them a regular part of your life.
Having diabetes has forced me to look at what I put in my mouth. I eat a lot healthier.
A dietitian or diabetes educator can help you learn how your blood sugar is affected by what you eat and how much. With diabetes, you should eat smaller portions and fewer carbohydrates.
When you have a carbohydrate alone, it's not the best choice.
Carbs, as they're called, are sweets and starches that are quickly turned into glucose.
People with diabetes have to limit how much carbohydrate they ingest in order to prevent that rise in blood sugar.
Some high-carb foods to be aware of are white bread, pasta, potatoes, rice, tortillas, and sweet desserts and candy. Regular soda and fruit juices can deliver a lot of carbs too.
To determine the amount of carbohydrates on a food label, we look at the serving size and then we look at the total carbohydrate content.
Learning to read labels can help you make healthier choices. Start by checking the serving size.
When patients come in and we talk about serving sizes, they are actually very surprised to see how much they eat. So it's very good to make people aware of what a normal serving size is compared to what their actual intake is.
Then check the total carbohydrates line. Your healthcare team can give you your own daily goal. Before long, you'll be able to make smart choices even without the labels.
If I go to my favorite restaurant and eat smothered pork chops, sweet potatoes, cornbread, macaroni and cheese, I'm not gonna feel good. But if I go to that same restaurant and I get cabbage or greens, I will get my pork chops, I'll forego the cornbread and I'll have a little salad, and I still feel full, but I can walk out and I feel fine.
Diabetes runs in Andre's family, but even though he knew he was at risk, the diagnosis took him by surprise.
Yeah, I was shocked. It turned into a little depression, but after the education came along and they was teaching me how to, count my carbs and take my meds, it became easier.
Even before he found out he had diabetes, Andre had been working hard to lose weight. Over the last 2 years, he has taken off 40 pounds with a steady, sensible approach.
I'm able to still eat the same things. It's just that I have to cut back on the size of my portions and add more vegetables.
Andre and his wife Ebony work a night shift together. Their hours make it difficult to make healthy choices, but they are rising to the challenge and modeling good eating habits for their children.
We cook and we take our food with us. At first it was kind of tough, but we worked around it and we made it fit into our schedule. So now it's basically easy.
I actually lost some weight as well. I'm learning how to eat a lot healthier, not so many sweets, no soda.
More than 80% of the people who develop type 2 diabetes are too heavy. So for most people, losing weight is part of the plan to control diabetes. It's not easy, but even a little bit can make a big difference.
So when people are overweight, they get more insulin resistant. So their insulin becomes less able to bring blood glucose out of the blood and into the cells where it can be used for energy. People who can lose weight will regain some of their insulin sensitivity, and insulin will work better.
Check with your doctor before you start any diet or take any diet supplements. But here are the basics for successful weight loss. Set realistic goals with the help of a healthcare professional. Keep a written log of everything you eat. Choose low-carb and low-fat foods by checking food labels. Look at the actual calorie count on the label and stay on target with what your healthcare team recommends.
That's great. It's 124/70. It's very difficult for many people to burn weight. And they eat what is regarded as the normal American diet. The fact is, the normal American diet is too many calories for the majority of people.
Sherry Shepard would agree with that. The diet she grew up with is not what she's eating now.
I come from a family, we really didn't eat very well. I mean, my family, just culturally, we love fried foods, food smothered in this, smothered in gravy, smothered in anything. I've always eaten whatever I wanted, junk food, even when I was pregnant. I've always battled with my weight over the years.
Now Sherry's happy with her weight and teaching her son a fresh attitude towards food. Learning how to manage diabetes can also include an exercise class. This one is run by a clinic, the Friedman Diabetes Institute in New York City. Physical activity helps your body use insulin more efficiently. It also helps you manage your weight. The American Diabetes Association recommends that people with diabetes exercise at least 2.5 hours a week, spread over at least 3 days.
Before I was diagnosed, exercise happened. It was sort of not something that I did. In other words, you might play tennis or touch football on a weekend or something, but never really during the week. And so now I view it as something that's important to do.
Before you start an exercise program, talk with your healthcare team. You'll learn about checking your blood sugar when you exercise and packing a snack. And you'll find out that you don't necessarily have to join a gym.
What works for you? What kind of activity do you like? You want to go in the garden and dig? Do you want to do some other physical activity that you enjoy even more? All of it will burn glucose and you will help control your blood sugar.
Dr. Bernstein has a special perspective to offer his patients. He has type 2 diabetes, and in his 40s, his children encouraged him to start running. For the next 25 years, he was a passionate runner.
At the end of the day, I would come out in my little running shorts and look at the patients, and I see we walk the talk.
Jody is learning to manage diabetes while also raising 4 sons. During one of her pregnancies, she developed a special type of diabetes called gestational diabetes. It went away after the baby was born, but recently she began to feel symptoms.
I was urinating a little more. My mouth was always dry and I was always thirsty. So those are like the main things that I learned that was a sign that I was coming back with diabetes.
As she starts making changes to stay healthy, Jody is including her family.
A little bit more vegetables now and a lot more salads.
Changes are easier and more likely to last if you take them one step at a time.
It's preferable for people to eat in moderation, look at their portion sizes, and watch what types of drinks they're having and how much of it they're actually drinking.
And don't go it alone. You might find a family member or friend who wants to lose weight and will join you in your new routine. Or seek out groups in your area that support losing weight, eating right, exercise, or diabetes in general. Your healthcare professional may be able to point you toward a group where you can find encouragement. Sherry Shepard's success didn't happen overnight. She worked as a legal secretary for years while trying to get a career going as a stand-up comic and actor.
I always keep up my typing skills. I can type 101 words a minute. So I always keep that up because you never know in this business.
But you have to know what's going on with your blood glucose, so Sherry tests hers on a regular basis. Blood sugar levels change throughout the day. The only way to know for sure if your blood sugar level is where it should be is to use a blood sugar machine. You can use a blood sugar machine anytime, anywhere.
So people can check their blood sugar before they eat and after they eat and see what kind of an impact their meal had on their blood sugar.
Your healthcare team will help you decide how often to check your glucose level and what kind of machine best fits your lifestyle.
There are a lot of meters out there available for people to use.
You'll also get guidelines for what your target numbers should be. In general, doctors recommend you aim for blood glucose level targets between 90 and 130 before a meal and less than 180 after a meal. In addition to checking your blood sugar before and after meals and other specific times your doctor recommends, remember to test when you exercise as well.
Exercise actually sensitizes our cells towards insulin and helps reduce the blood glucose. And testing before and after exercise will actually let the person know how their body responded to that exercise. And also, some people who are taking certain type of medications should definitely check the blood sugar before exercise to prevent low blood sugars.
You should also test yourself if you're feeling stressed, sick, or if you change your routine or medication. If your levels are not normal, don't hesitate to check in with your healthcare team.
When people's blood sugar is not under control, people often make the mistake of waiting until their next visit before telling their doctor or healthcare provider. When people notice their blood sugars are high for a few days in a row, they should contact their healthcare provider and see what can be done to change that.
Your blood sugar level should not drop below 70. Low blood sugar or hypoglycemia can have immediate effects.
My wife says the first phase is when I get cranky. After that, I get shaky, and if it goes even lower, I will start to sweat.
Initial symptoms can include anxiety, shakiness, heart racing or palpitations, or sweatiness, but it can quickly progress to something more severe like confusion, even coma or death. So it's very important to get a hold of low blood sugar very early.
In one case, I kind of ignored the warnings. They were there, and it got very low, and actually I ended up with a trip to the hospital. That hasn't happened any other time, and it reminded me, and I guess everybody should be reminded, that low blood sugars, hypoglycemia is not something that to be trifled with.
Several things may cause it: skipping a meal, eating later than usual, eating less, exercising more than normal, taking too much medicine, or changing your medicines. People with diabetes need to be aware of the signs of low blood glucose and be ready to give their bodies the sugar they need.
It's very important that they need to carry a source of sugar with them, such as a 15-gram carbohydrate, a simple sugar, such as glucose tablets, 4 ounces of juice.
Because low blood sugar can make you confused, you might not realize you have a problem. That's why it's important for friends and family to learn the signs of low blood sugar so they can offer you sugar when you need it and know when to call a doctor or an ambulance. While low blood sugar can cause immediate effects, high blood sugar can cause damage over time. That's why it's important to keep track of your numbers. For most people, a blood sugar level higher than 130 before meals is too high. At any time, levels higher than 200 are too high for anyone. You might feel symptoms: being thirsty, needing to urinate more than normal, feeling weak and tired, or blurry vision. Sherry Shepard had all those symptoms before her diabetes was diagnosed.
Every time I looked around, I was sleepy. You could be talking to me and I'm, like this. Then I was thirsty all the time. And it was like, I just went to the bathroom 30 seconds ago. I was always going to the bathroom.
But it's also possible to have high blood sugar levels and feel quite normal.
There are millions of people walking around every day who have diabetes and uncontrolled blood sugar and don't know it. Again, many people have no symptoms whatsoever.
Your sugar level may get too high if you eat more than normal, skip medicines, exercise less than normal, are sick, or if you've been under stress. You and your doctor should make a plan for what to do if your blood sugar is too high. If your blood sugar level stays high, call your healthcare team.
Not everybody whose sugar goes up needs to run to the emergency room, but you do need to contact your educator to get the information as to what to do.
If diet and exercise changes do not lower your blood sugar levels, there are many kinds of pills for type 2 diabetes. Some people just take pills. Others need to take both pills and insulin. With your doctor, you can discuss the pluses and minuses of each kind of pill.
It's important for people to realize that if they're on medication for diabetes, that there are a lot of different choices out there. And if somebody has side effects from one medication, they should tell their healthcare provider, because there are plenty of other choices which may not have any side effects for that person. Likewise, if cost is prohibitive, there are other medications out there which may not be as expensive. Work with your healthcare team to find a good treatment plan for you.
To make sure you take your medication as directed, have a system. Take your pills on schedule at the same time each day, and eat regular meals.
Also, some people choose to keep a log of their blood sugars and a log of the medications. Some patients have trouble remembering, did I take my medications today? They can refer back to their log and make sure if they took their medications or not on that day.
Also, be sure to tell the healthcare professional about other medications and herbal products you are taking. It can be helpful to bring them with you to checkups. Some people with type 2 diabetes need to take insulin to help control their blood sugar.
People will require insulin if their initial blood sugars are markedly above normal. Also, most people who have diabetes type 2 long enough will ultimately require insulin.
Women with diabetes who are pregnant also need to use insulin to control their blood sugar levels. The only way to get insulin into your body is with a shot that you give yourself. Your diabetes educator will help you choose what works best for you from the delivery devices available, a needle and syringe or an insulin pen.
And also the insulin pumps that deliver insulin continuously and on demand.
No matter what kind of diabetes medication you take, never share it with anyone, and keep it in a safe place away from children.
It's very important to keep organized and keep everything in one place so that we know where to find things, and also to make things very convenient for ourselves.
Remember, taking your medication as directed could mean the difference between living a long and normal life with diabetes and suffering complications. The risk is yours to control with the help of your healthcare professionals. We all need to get regular checkups, but for people with the symptoms of diabetes, that first appointment might be difficult to make.
I didn't want to go to the doctor because I didn't want to hear what the doctor had to say.
But as we've seen, it takes expert guidance to help you stay healthy, and your healthcare professional needs your honest participation in your treatment plan.
I think you have to be open with your doctor. I was lying a lot. My doctor would, they would do the tests, and he would say, how you been, and what have you been eating? And I was like, I've been fine. Knowing good and well I had my M&Ms or my desserts. And he could tell. Your doctors want to help you. They want to see you succeed. And they'll talk to you toughly, but they'll talk to you tough with love.
Your healthcare team will tell you how often they need to see you. At your doctor's office, you'll get a test called the hemoglobin A1C test. This is different from the testing you're doing yourself. It measures the average blood glucose control for the previous 3 months.
So it's very important. And in people who are not getting the kind of care that they should, their A1C may be way off the scale. And it needs to be brought down if they are to avoid cardiovascular complications and then the well-known complications of blindness, kidney failure, and loss of limb.
Checking for signs of complications is another reason to get a regular checkup. You can expect the doctor to take a look at your feet.
Remember, diabetes is the leading cause of non-traumatic loss of limb. That usually comes from infection in the feet. But you can prevent it simply by every time you see your physician or healthcare professional, take off your shoes and socks.
You might also be asked to see specialists for your feet and for your eyes, and a dentist as well. Protect yourself and your family by getting the checkups you need and by asking any questions you have.
I find that it's very important for patients to be involved in their health care, ask questions when they come to their doctor, be involved in getting the results of their blood test so that they know what's going on with their health.
Type 2 diabetes used to be considered a disease that developed in adults. In recent years, however, it has been on the rise among children and teens.
And the challenge that they face is that now these children have to go on medications at such a young age. They're in a school where a lot of their other peers are not taking these medications, or they actually have to watch a certain way that they live, such as diet and exercise, so that might be hard for them to face. I think the best thing would be for them to share it with their friends. Let their friends come into their world and understand what they're going through. Let their teachers be aware, let their nurses be aware.
Teens with diabetes need to know that using alcohol or other drugs can lead to dangerous swings in blood sugar levels. The good news is, making healthy choices helps you manage your diabetes and look and feel your best too. Whether you have been living with diabetes for years or you're newly diagnosed, with a daily commitment to your health, you can have a bright future. Ask your loved ones to help you stick with your treatment plan. Make healthy food choices. Lose weight if you need to. Exercise. Check your sugar. Take medication as directed, and get regular checkups. Reach out to healthcare professionals. A diabetes educator can answer a lot of your questions and provide you with useful advice.
This is just a beginning. With the support from the staff of a diabetes educator, a nurse, a dietitian, you will be well on your way to controlling your diabetes, managing it, and you'll be able to live a healthy life.
Sherry Shepard is the kind of person who sees the silver lining when a cloud comes along. For her, having diabetes has provided inspiration to lead a healthier lifestyle for herself and for her son.
You can be happy, you can be healthy, you can still do things that you've always dreamed about doing. Now it's just a matter of taking care of yourself.
Take a cue from Sherry and take control of your diabetes, starting now and every day. Do it for your family and yourself.